Oh, so happy to have you all here this morning. I appreciate you logging in and coming in person. And of course, Artie's excited too. Thank you, buddy. So I think you guys remember that I've been gone for a couple weeks, and we had all kinds of interesting things happen to us while we were gone, none of which we were planning on. But when things like that happen, you just kind of accept them and move on. For instance, in Sedona, which we were planning to hike every day, we ended up with 11 inches of snow, and it made it impossible to even find the trails. So we had to forego that. We got one hike in, and we ended up, us Iowa girls, we ended up pushing a lot of people out of the roadway because they didn't know how to drive in the snow. So it was good we were there. Lots of fun things. And my husband and I ended up driving to Chicago in that ice storm 2 weeks ago because for some reason they just canceled our flight out of Cedar Rapids. So anyway, so it kind of reminded me of this story that I like to tell. And I'm going to read it to you from the book where I got it from originally. It's an old man and his son worked a small farm with only one horse to pull the plow. One day the horse ran away. How terrible, sympathized the neighbors. What bad luck. Who knows whether it's bad luck or good luck, the farmer replied. A week later, the horse returned from the mountains, leading 5 wild mares into the barn. What wonderful luck, said the neighbors. Good luck? Bad luck? Who knows, answered the old man. The next day, the son, trying to tame one of the horses, fell and broke his leg. How terrible. What bad luck. Bad luck? Good luck. The army came to all the farms to take the young men for war, but the farmer's son was of no use to them, so he was spared. Good? Bad. You just never know. So you may as well just embrace whatever comes your way, right? And that's what we learn in Hatha Yoga, that you're supposed to embrace all aspects of your life. So please close your eyes. And turn to your breath. And just notice the texture of your breath this morning. And try and smooth out any rough spots in it. And then please bring hands to heart center. May we all learn to accept and embrace everything that comes our way, that happens to us. Well, if we're always in the present, just noticing and appreciating and finding the good, we're much better able to catch the grace that's always there. And please lower your hands, open your eyes. Welcome. Yeah, one more thing that happened to us in Sedona is my friend Helen had driven her mother's car there. So we would have a second car because there were 7 of us. And the snow was so wet and heavy that trees were falling all over the place, falling over the roads. But one fell in the Airbnb driveway onto her mom's car. And she had just told us a story about how every time she borrowed her mom's car, something bad happened. So come on into child's pose to start. But now we can look back and laugh at that, especially since it wasn't damaged too badly. In child's pose, just a nice stretch in the hip. And walk your fingers a little bit further away from you and come up on fingertips. With the armpit, rib cage. When we were in Florida, the red tide was there. Hopefully that's not the case where you're at, Lisa Anderson. And just walk your fingers to the right. And then to the left. And coming back to center, plant your hands and slide up to all fours, tabletop, and move through some cow-cats. Just go slow and mindful, really noticing what feels tight this morning. I gotta work on those things a little bit. Good. And then pause, and with a flat back, make sure your hands are right under your shoulders, knees under hips. And lift your right knee up to the side. This way, as you can see. And then just notice what happens. So for me, my left hip wants to stick out and my left shoulder wants to come forward. So I want you to resist that. So draw the left hip in, draw the left shoulder back so you feel really stable. And then just kind of move your knee in a circle, just kind of open up that hip a little bit. You may not be able to lift it as high, but it feels really safe and protected. Good. And then go ahead and just extend it straight back and see if you can still find that support. Hip in, and then extend the opposite arm with it. I want you to just feel so supported by your core and by your shoulder girdle and hips and pelvis that your leg just kind of feels like it's floating there. Good, and then bring the hand down and bring the foot across to the left side. And don't lose the support. So think low belly draws up, hips stay square to the floor, shoulders stay square to the floor. But I'm gonna twist and look at the foot and just feel a stretch in the left side, maybe in the left hip or the right hip and right. Forgot I'm mirroring you. Good. And come back to center and pause. And then we'll go to the other side. So extend the left hip. Notice, does your right shoulder come forward, your right hip stick out? So really support it. And then move it in the circle. Warm it up. Try not to lift that hip higher than the other. Just support it with the other hip. It's a lot more work in that hip that's the knees, where the knees down. Good. And then go ahead and extend it straight back. Again, notice. And the opposite arm. Get that feeling of really being supported so that the leg just kind of feels suspended there. And then bring the hand down, cross it over to the right side. Don't lose the support, and twist and look at it. And then please unwind. Go ahead and get off your hands for a minute by sitting back into child's pose again. This time, just let your hands relax. Nice, smooth, textured breath again. Good. And then make your way on up to standing. And I'm going to have you find your blocks. And I'm going to have you insert a block between your upper thighs. And then just kind of squeeze the block and feel how you support yourself there. And then bring the other block between your hands. Yeah, we're going to warm up fast doing this kind of stuff. So block between the hands, squeeze it so you feel like your shoulder girdle is really engaged. So you can round the upper back and push off, and then bring it back, shoulders on the back, and then find that place in the middle where you feel supported on both sides. Good, and then stretch the block up and arc to your right. There's a lot different when you're supported so fully by your hips, your pelvis, your shoulders. Good, come back up and arc to the other side. Keep squeezing, really engaging. Come back to center. And you can set the block between your hands down. And I'm just going to have you keep the other block there and sit back into a chair pose and bring hands to heart center. Now, I got cat hair all over me already. I want you to notice when you sat back, if you're still squeezing the block, how your knees stay parallel. I want you to keep that, lengthen your spine, and then twist to the right and see if you can keep squeezing the block. Notice how your knees stay the same plane. So you may not twist as deep, but you're really supporting yourself. Good, come back to center and twist to the left. So one knee doesn't come in front of the other. Just notice how that happens when you're squeezing the block. Good, come back to center and fold forward. You can keep squeezing the block if you want. It kind of feels good on your low back. Good, now reach up, remove the block. Just have them handy at the front of your mat. And in a forward fold, just kind of notice, are you still supporting? And then come back into that chair pose. So you can start with hands on knees. Remember how it felt with the block between your thighs. Your nice long spine, hands to heart center, and try that twist again, but try not to let one knee come forward. So twist to your right. Have to have a really strong support system going. Come back through center, twist to your left. Yeah, good job, everybody. Come back to center and come on up to standing. Oh, it's a lot of work, isn't it? Okay, now let's try that supporting in a balance pose. So stand on your right foot and just lift your left heel. And just see, sometimes when I do that, my hip wants to stick out. So support on both sides. And then when you lift the knee, notice, does my hip lift higher or does it drop? And try to keep it steady and stable and supported, both hips. Good, now just your left hand, find the knee. And bring it off to the side. Try to keep that support going. Hover the foot away from your leg. See if you can keep that and maybe stretch up chair or tree pose. Good. Bring it back to center and release. Yeah, it's okay. If you step on her, she's such a big girl, it won't hurt her. Okay, let's try the other side. So stand on the right or your left foot, lift the right heel. And just notice, so I always have a tendency to lift that hip too high. So that's me, but some people drop it. I want you to keep it supported to bring the knee up. Find the knee with your right hand. Keep the support as you bring it off to the side. One side always feels harder. And then just hovering tree pose. If you can find that support system from below, squeeze the glutes a little bit, lengthen up, and then bring it back to center and release. Well done. Woohoo. Okay, well, we might revisit that in a bit. Find your blocks and come forward. And step your right foot back to deep lunge. And then just take note here, do your hips want to push one way or another, or can you line everything up? You make sure the toes on the right foot are pointing straight ahead and on the left foot too. And then once you feel like, whoa, I am lined up, lower your back knee. Hands to the front knee. And notice even in that transition, do you feel anything not kind of give up and not be supported? And then maybe stretch a little deeper. Hugging the right heel in, the left hip crease back. Good, and touch down. You may need your blocks here, you may not. Slide your hips back, straighten your left leg. And then just notice there. Oh, my hips kind of wanted to stray off to the right. Can you support with the right hip and the left hip? Kneecap and toes point up. Spine stretches straight forward. Yeah, big hamstring stretch. Good, and bend into the front knee. Lift the back knee. We'll switch. So left foot back. So this is what I want you to do no matter what we're doing. You just check, am I lined up? Lower the back knee. Keep going as you transition, hands to knee, bringing your torso upright. What's your tendency? Draw the right hip crease back. Lengthen up, feel a nice stretch. You can even bend a little deeper if you want to. Hug heel to knee to heel. Touch down. Stretch out that hamstring. Slide the hips back, straighten the front leg. Noticing. Stabilizing. Lining up. And feeling a nice stretch. Good. Bend into the front knee. Move the blocks out of the way so that you can lift the back knee and step back to downward facing dog. And even here, I want you to see, okay, am I supported in this pose through all parts of my foot? My sits bones back, everything's supported. My shoulders are super supported. I'm broadening the clavicles, but I feel front and back of the body supporting me, standing long through the spine. And you can walk it out a little bit once you feel supported. Good, and then come forward to plank. And just check there. Do you feel like you lost some of that support system or not? Hopefully not. And then lower your knees and try and lower to the mat, but keep your elbows above your wrists as you do so your heart slides forward and come all the way down. Good, just baby cobra, so stretch your toes long. Lift on up so your elbows are still above your wrists, sorry. And lower down. She's doing it on her back. Good. And then go ahead and push all the way back to child's pose for a moment. And then on up to downward facing dog. And just check again. Are you supported in down dog? Bring your feet a little closer together. I don't know, it always feels better to me. Make sure you're using all parts of your hand and extend your right leg. Bend the knee and just feel supported, but maybe make a circle with your right knee. So don't let that left shoulder come forward. Don't let the left hip fly out. Good, extend the leg again. And step it all the way through, deep lunge. You can use the blocks there if you want to. Let me know if she gets too much and I'll just get her out of here. So deep lunge. Check your support system, lower the back knee, stretch up Anjane Asana. Right hip crease back, feel all parts of your right foot engaged, hugging. I like to think of hugging the left heel in because that keeps my leg lined up, my hips square. Good, lower to the block. Lift the back knee. Keep the left leg the way it is. Keep the right leg the way it is, except for straighten your right leg. You might need to come up to the higher height of your block. You decide for pyramid pose. Again, just check your support system. Right hip should be back. Shoulders support you somewhat. Toes point straight ahead, both feet. And maybe stretch a little further. Good, bend into the front knee. Bring your hands to your front knee. Remind your support system, they have to stay active as you come up to crescent. Now, if that doesn't feel stable, lower your back knee and work at it from that angle. Stretch up, crescent warrior. And remember how it felt with the block between your thighs. To keep stable, bring hands to heart center and just try this, a little bit of a twist to your right. You can hover the elbow or you can touch it down if that feels stable. Good. Come back to center. Bring your hands to your front thigh and ground your back foot down. And make your way, warrior two. Ooh, nice. And just check your support system here. So is your right thigh supported, inner and outer, but you want the sits bone to stay back. And especially that left leg, you want that really engaged. Good, now reverse it. So left arm down, right arm up. Still feel that support. You don't go as deep, but you feel good. Now straighten the front leg. And then come back through the warrior two position, not bending the knee, but to triangle. Your block's there, or you can come higher, whatever works best for you, or you can come to the floor if your hamstrings feel like that's available to you. Check your support system. Can you lengthen any more? Can you feel the shoulders helping you? Oh, good. Now look at the floor, bend your front knee, touch your left hand down, walk your hands to the left and turn your right foot forward. And then check your support system here. I just looked at the camera and I was off. My right hip was sticking out more than my left. So you just have to see your tendencies and adjust and feel like you want to be super supported both sides. And then fold into Prasarita, Tadasana. Kneecaps and toes point the same direction. Sits bones back. Outer thighs and inner thighs working together to hold your pelvis steady. Low belly drawing up, spine lengthening. Shoulders supported on both sides. Good. Come all on up to standing like this. Bring your arms out. Star pose. Good. Turn just your front foot forward. Bend into the front knee. Warrior two again. And then windmill down. Turn the back heel up. And finding space for your hands, step back to down dog. And we're going to repeat that on the opposite side. So let's start with that extending of the leg. So bring the feet closer because then it feels more stable, like you can really support both hips. Extend the left leg. Use really strong shoulders as you bend the knee. Draw the right hip in, right shoulder stable, and then make a circle with the left knee. You just feel the movement in the left hip. Yeah, you have strength in the rest. Extend the left leg and then step it through. Deep lunge. You can use your blocks again, or however you can get it there. And check yourself. Are you supported in the ways that you want to be? Lower the back knee. Hug to the midline. Keep everything supported. Stretch up Anjane Asana. Good. Touch down. Lift the back knee. Straighten the left leg. Don't let anything get out of whack. Left hip crease stays back. Draw the low belly up. I always start with the base and kind of work up my spine. And then maybe stretch a little deeper. Good. Bend into the front knee. Make sure your right foot's where you want it. Make sure you're supported as you come up to crescent warrior. Remember, you can always lower your back knee. Keep the support going as you bring hands to heart center. Twist to your left. Don't let anything change. Hug the right heel in. Left hip crease stays back. Come back to center. I like to bring my hands to my front thigh so I can ground that back foot down and check the alignment, and then come up warrior two. Yeah. Good. Just embrace being well supported. Good, reverse it. Still supported. Pelvis is kind of sideways, shoulders are sideways to where you were. Straighten the front leg. And then come through and triangle pose. Notice your support system. Is it really helping you? Beautiful, you guys. Everyone in this room's looking supported. One more breath. Look at the floor. Touch the right hand down. Bend the left knee, and then walk your hands to the right as you turn the left foot in. Prasarita again. Are you supported on both sides of your upper thighs here and both sides of your feet? Your shoulders. And then come on up to standing. Extend your arms, star pose. Turn your left foot and leg forward, bend into the knee, warrior two again. Super supported. And then windmill down. Turn the right heel up. Lose the block, step back, downward facing dog. I'm going to give you an option. You can go to child's pose here, or you can do a little vinyasa, but you want it to be a supported vinyasa. So just take note, come forward to plank, lower your knees if you need to, or bend into chaturanga, trying to keep the elbows above the wrist, broaden the clavicles, draw the low belly up. Good. And come down, cobra. And lower. And everyone push back to child's pose. Just bring your hands under your forehead. Take a moment for yourself. And then come on up to standing. We're gonna try tree pose again. This time I'm gonna allow you to bring the foot to the inner thigh, but you're still gonna look for that support system. So standing on your right foot, bring your left knee up, and then bring it to tree pose. And just look for your support system. Just hover your right hand above your right knee, extend the left arm. See if you can keep that support system and possibly arc towards your knee. Keep the support system just like you did. Pretend like there's a block between your upper thighs. Good. Come back to center and release. That's challenging. But if you remember your support system, it helps. So stand on your other foot. Bring the knee up. Notice if you're scooching, turn it out. Transition tree pose. Over the right hand, extend the left arm. Support system as you try to arc towards the knee. And come back up and release. Woohoo! One side always feels way different for me than the other side. Okay, one more fun pose. So you may just bring the knee up and fold over it, or if you want to go deeper, you can try and find the foot and then straighten it. And you don't have to straighten it all the way. And just using your support system, see where it takes you, okay? So stand on your right foot, lift your left knee, and either find the knee, the shin, or the foot. Think of your support system as you try and straighten the leg. Try not, so my right hip wanted to lift. I have to tell myself, no, keep it even. And then release. Fun to play. So just think of trying to keep the support system. This is my harder side, so see what happens. So I immediately want to stick my hip out. I'm going to think, no, support system. Lift the knee. Perhaps find the knee, the ankle, the foot. And then move into straightening it. It's okay. And release. Okay, enough of that. Let's go through a sun salute again. So come to the front of your mat. Work from your feet up. Stretch your arms up. Try and remember the whole support system. Bring hands to heart center and just close your eyes for a minute. How balanced do you feel? Can you embrace whatever happened to you, even if you fell out of that last pose? It's okay. It's where we're at today. I fell out of it. I noticed things. I'm still learning about myself, even after practicing all these years. My tendencies, my weaknesses. It's all good. Good. Open your eyes, stretch your arms up, and fold forward. Front arm, and fold. Step your right foot back to deep lunge. Notice. Stretch up, crescent warrior. I'm just giving you time to really take note. Ground the back foot down, warrior two. Engage your support system. Beautiful. Good, bend into the front knee a little bit more as you bring elbow to knee, or your block is there if you want to grab the block, Parsvakonasana. And if it feels like your support system is in place, You can stretch the arm by your ear. Think of all that length. Artie's going to help you. Good. Look at the floor. Touch the blocks. Turn your right heel up. Now just step your blocks forward about 12 to 18 inches and come upright to crescent warrior. Support system in place. Left hip crease back, right shining straight ahead, hands to heart center. Lean over your left knee and either step the right foot forward or come into warrior three. See if you can get that feeling of just suspension there, because your support system's helping you so much. Maybe even extend your arms. The blocks are there in case you need them. Whew. I'm needing them. Good, and touch it down. And slide the blocks back. Step back to down dog on the blocks. Oh, that feels good. Then the right leg, step it through. Come on up. Engage your support system. Warrior one or crescent warrior. Right hip creases back. Everything's lined up. Heels, sits bones. Good. Ground the back foot down. Warrior two. Even your shoulders. I always have to think, am I supported on the front and the back so that I can extend wider? Good. Parsvakonasana, either elbow to knee or to the block or to the floor. And then if you feel like you're in a good place, you're well supported, you can stretch the arm by the ear. Lengthen. Come back up. Warrior two. And then windmill down so you can turn the back heel up. You know where we're going now. Bring the blocks forward. Hands to the front thigh. Now my right hip wanted to come forward, so I have to really talk to it as I come up crescent warrior. I want to stay supported on all sides. Hands to heart center. Lift your weight over the right foot and see about coming into warrior three. Get that feeling of suspension of the back leg. Really feel the shoulders supported. Good. And then touch down. Grab the blocks. Step back. Down dog. Well done, you guys. Lower your knees. Come to the middle of the mat. Make sure your knees are as wide as your hips, if not a little wider, and your feet follow suit, toes pointing straight back. And then you can use a block under your tail or two, or a blanket. I always have to get my calves out of the way for virasana or warrior or hero pose. Let's see where it takes you. Whew, that's a big stretch on my ankles. And then just kind of let it go progressively. Yeah, don't go too deep if your knees hurt you. It's okay. It's okay to just go where it feels good. Now, for some of you, it might feel super easy. If you want to, you can lower to your elbows. So I have to tell my low belly to draw up to keep my low back safe, but I want to keep the curve. Feel like it's a quad stretch. My right hip wants to stay higher than my left, so I have to talk to it. You just notice your tendencies. Couple breaths. And then leading with your heart, come on back up. And just come to all fours. Oh boy. And just see, do your toes or do your ankles still move? Oh, Artie. Come here, Artie. Artemis. Sorry, just push her out of the way. And just do a couple cat cows just because that was pretty intense. And then come make your way to a downward facing dog, supported down dog. And come forward to plank and lower to the mat. Grab her right in your face. And lower. I don't know if I said that. Sorry. You guys are holding in chaturanga for that long. See what happens if you extend your arms straight back. See if you can lift the shoulders up, lift the head up, and lift the chest up. Keep the rib cage back and maybe interlace the hands. Press the feet down. Try and think of lengthening the spine still. If your hands don't reach, no problem. This is just to broaden the clavicles and relax down. And then slide your hand by your chest so that your elbows are above your wrist. And then bend your knees. Press your knees into the mat so you can kind of blossom your butt up. And then think, I'm going to draw my low belly up and draw my rib cage back. And then lift to a variation of cobra with your feet lifted. Feels weird, right? And then lower down. You can repeat that. Or if you want to, reach back with your hands, see if you can find your ankles or your feet. Don't let anything sway. Push into your knees again, blossom your butt. Think low belly draws up, rib cage back. Lengthen the back of your neck as you lift and kick back. Dhanurasana. Bow pose. Oh. 2 more breaths. Come on, you can do it. Good, and release. Push back to child's pose. Feel your heart beat. Whoever said that there's no cardio involved with yoga hasn't practiced much yoga. And then come on up to a seated position. If you want to sit on a blanket, you're welcome. I'm not going to today. Well, I might, I don't know, we'll see. So in Dandasana, just kind of draw your legs into the sockets a little bit so that you feel well supported. And then just think of, your pelvis and hugging in to lengthen your spine up. And it's okay to have your knees bent a little bit. And then just see, maybe you want a little more stretch. Your hamstrings have gotten a workout. You can fold forward if you want. But keep thinking, I want everything to stay supported and square, even in my shoulders as I do this. My feet are super active, you can probably see. Paschimottanasana. And then come on up. She loves you. Bend your right knee. Bring the ankle across the thigh. And again, just see, sometimes my left hip wants to scooch forward or my right hip. See if you can support it and get your spine lengthened, draw the low belly up so that you feel the stretch only in your right hip. And then you can work on widening the knee. Now you don't want to crank your knee. What you're trying to work on is your hip, right? You're just kind of spinning that in the socket. And if you still want more stretch and you still think you have more stretch in you, see about holding the foot and the knee and lifting it. Ooh. And then maybe even, I like to, if you bring it into your elbow crease, make sure your foot doesn't sickle. And then just think of your support system. Oh, that feels good. You can rock your baby if you want. Good, and then holding the foot and the knee, stack knee upon knee. And again, just turn to your support system. Your core, your hips, your legs, your shoulders. And if that feels good and you want more stretch, you can fold over the top of your knee. Many people say, oh, my hamstring won't do that. That's okay. You just embrace where you're at today. It has a lot to do with what you've been doing. Oh. And then everyone come on up. Bring your left hand to your right knee, your right hand behind you, and do a little twist to see if that feels good, but use your support system. So lengthening your spine, not cranking yourself, but just opening up a little bit more hip stretch. Long side body, both sides. Long back of neck. And unwind. Oh, let's try that sequence on the other side. So as you transition back to Dandasana, just make sure kneecaps and toes are pointing up. Bend the left knee. Bring the ankle across. Engage your support system. Feel like, oh boy, I'm way tighter on this side. This is your special side. It's okay. We all have those special sides. If you want more stretch, you can lift. See, I have a tendency for my hips to move and not be supported as well when I do that. So just notice. Rock your babies. You have to kind of find a spot that feels appropriate. And then grabbing the foot and the knee, bring it across. I'm always trying to hug my heel in, and I don't know if you can see, but I always kind of keep my foot flex so it's not tickling. You don't have to do that. I do that because my ankles are bad. But do engage your support system. And then maybe stretch that hip a little more. Just don't push it. See where it takes you. And coming up, right hand to left knee, left hand behind you for the twist. Just go really slow. Engage your support system. Keep the spine long, both sides of the body long to engage the twist. May not go as deep when you work this way, but it's going to feel safer. Keep the sits bones grounded. Good, and unwind. That's good. Now come to off the blanket if you're on the blanket, and come to the middle of your mat with your sits bones and grab behind your knees. And then engage your support system as you lean back and come to Navasana boat pose. And then you can slowly roll down. So your legs lower, don't round your low back, but you can round your upper back as you slowly lower. See how slow you can go. You'll get to a point where you just kind of go, plunk. Keep everything square, keep your support system going. And then come all the way down to your back. Oh, that feels good, right? And bend your knees. Feet under knees, hands by the hips. Curve in the low back. Feel that. And then lift to Setu Bandha. Engage your support system here. You pretend like you have a glass of water on your belly and you're just going to hold it steady there. One hip's not higher than the other. Hug the feet towards you. And then lower down. Hug your knees in towards your chest. I want you to think here as you do this, long, long, long spine. So lengthen your spine and then lengthen it even more as you bring your nose towards your knees. Good. And then lay back down. Hold on just to your right knee as you bring your left foot flat. And as you do that, notice how your pelvis shifts and you have that curve in your low back again. Your knee might come away from you a little bit because I want you to keep that as you then extend the left leg to the ground. Engage your support system. So don't let your right hip lift high. Keep it right where it is, square to the left one. The left leg's super active as you interlace behind the right leg and straighten it. Press. You're pressing right hamstrings into hands and resisting with the hands, but also lengthening your spine. You're going to feel really good. And then just see, maybe you can walk the hands up a little higher. You probably have to bend your knee a little bit. And then grab a hold of those, either the ankle or the little toe side. Bring your left hand out to the side. So left shoulder, left leg, left hand, stay grounded as you try and straighten the right leg a little bit and let it meander off to the right side. It's a big stretch. Keep that left leg grounded. Don't go too far. If you feel like you're coming up, you've gone too far. Good. Come back to center. Release the foot. Either bring the right foot on top of the left leg or tuck it underneath the knees. Bring your arms to T or to cactus and roll to your left hip. So your right knee comes across. See if you can use your support system a little bit here to really support the hips and the shoulders and allow the natural twist. Ooh, that feels good. And unwind. Hug your knees in once again. We'll repeat that on the other side. So nose to knees, if you can. Think long lengthening of the spine. Always trying to get you to add room in between those vertebrae. It feels so much better. And then lay back down. Feel how long it is. Hold on to the left knee. Let the right foot come flat. And then just notice, did I allow that curve to come back in my low back? You might have to let the left knee come away from you more as you extend the right leg. Make sure it's straight down. Interlace behind the left thigh. Straighten the left leg. One side always kind of feels different. Just notice, do you have your support system in place? Walk your hands up. You'll probably have to bend the knee to find little toe side. Right hand comes out to the side. So right shoulder, right leg, right hand, stay down as you possibly straighten the left leg a little more and allow it. So keep the hips square, keep the support system in place as you allow the leg to come off to the left side. Really work on not going too far, just keeping your support system going. And come back to center, release the foot, either bring it on top of the thigh or tuck it behind the knee. Left arm comes to T or cactus, roll to your right hip. Notice the support system. Notice how my knee doesn't come all the way to the ground. Most people don't, especially if you're really supporting yourself, feeling the hips and the pelvis supported and the shoulders supported. You don't twist as deep, but it feels like a good stretch. And then please roll back to center. Feet flat. If you'd like, do a few windshield wipers, or if you're ready for Shavasana, just go right into Shavasana. And as you all come into Shavasana, I just want you to think about relaxing into the floor completely. You don't need support at all from your muscles at this point, especially if you're careful and got yourself in a really comfortable position. So allow yourself to be supported by the earth. Hopefully nothing else. Notice if you're holding tension in your jaw, in your belly. In your arches. And just let go of it. And we all do this. We have a picture in our minds of how we want certain events or meetings or anything to go. We have preconceived ideas about how it should go, and we prepare for them, which is good. But then we get to that event and it looks nothing like what we had imagined. How do you handle that? Just embrace what is. Can you just embrace what is and go with it and adjust? Think of something now that happened to you that you labeled as really terrible. And then look back on it and see if there's anything good that came from it. And if you can't see anything good, perhaps look for what you learned from having gone through that. Perhaps how it made you stronger, more resilient. There's no need to control. It is what it is. I cannot control the universe, though I act at times as though I think I can. The universe is planned for divine right functioning, and my efforts to control it only interrupt the plan. Today, I release the reins that are not mine to begin with. I will not try to control the world on any level or in any way. I free all things and people from the shackles of my self-will. How different my life will be if I let go, allowing the universe to do its dance without my constant interference. Today, I release the thought that I know what is best for myself, for the world, or for anyone in it. I relax into the patterns of a divinely orchestrated universe, asking only to be guided where I can best fit in and be used in service to love's will. From Marianne Williamson. Noticing the texture of your breath again. Begin to stretch and move in small ways. Expanding into the space around you. Eventually drawing your knees in, rolling to the right side. And pushing on up. Take your time. And please bring hands to heart center. Thank you all so very much for practicing this morning. It was just the way I pictured it. Namaste. Except for in my own body, of course. It didn't go anything like I thought it would. So have a fabulous weekend, everybody. A reminder for those of you that practice on Tuesday, I won't be here Tuesday. So let's stop the recording.